Last time, the message was आपे ऊंचा ऊंचो होई जिस आप विखाले सो वेखे कोई नानक नाम वसै घट अंतर आपे वेख विखालणिया. That was page 125, hymn number 27. आपे ऊंचा ऊंचो कोई. He is not the greatest because we say it. Because some people say it. Or some people believe it. Some people are willing to die for that thought, that belief system. The fundamental question is, if the entire humanity on this planet stop believing in it and say, there is none, would it make any difference to him? Is he great because we are believing in it? Absolutely not. And if we stop believing in him, nothing is going to matter. And if we all together believe, universally say yes, he is, it still is not going to matter. You see, we as human, if the people start calling you, you are bad, you are bad, you are bad, slowly, slowly we start believing that we are bad. There is a parable in Sufi literature that somebody had a servant who are very much mistakes prone. So whatever his original name was, his name translated in English became idiot. So everybody started him calling him idiot. He got so tired and frustrated with this, everybody calling him an idiot, he left the city. He went to the next city and found a job there. Few days went by, okay, he told his original name to his new employer. And one day the employer asked him to do something and he made a mistake. And the employer called him and he said, "You idiot, I didn't tell you to do this. Why did you do that?" And he said, "I will answer your question afterwards. You first tell me, who told you my real name?"
Oh.
That's why I left the city. I am not an idiot. See, human needs the confirmation from the other. And it goes on every part of our life. A very common question. Do you still love me? Oh, please love me. Now, is the love a doing? Can you really love somebody? So what's the normal answer? Honey, I'm trying very hard. Instead of saying, I really don't. Because there is a command. Oh, please love me. Love is not a doing, It does not need the confirmation. Love is an event happening by itself. You can neither start loving somebody or stop loving somebody on a command. But we humans, our language reinforces this again and again. Bete, you are supposed to love your father and mother and brother. Because if you don't, I am not going to be happy. Now you tell me, which is the switch that this girl should turn on that suddenly the love for her, love for him, everything develops? How would she do it? Is this possible? And she also says, I'm crying. There are certain processes in nature which cannot be turned on or off by choice, by commandments. They are part of His creation. They are happenings. Love happens. Love evolves. Love grows just as a plant grows out of the earth. If there is a seed, there will be a plant. If it is meant to be, the love will grow. But you cannot command it. And we insist on demanding. I am your wife. I left my household. You are supposed to love me. Now, how does this happen? Everybody knows it. So instead of commanding the love, we start demanding the love. And more we demand, further it goes away. Because it's an automatic happening. Just like more you tell your body to go to sleep, more it wakes up. Because that is not a demand. It is a happening. You just lie down and wait for the sleep to come. You cannot demand it. There are certain things which are part of the nature. So the message last time was, His greatness is not anybody's recommendation. It's not based on any command or any demand or any condition. He is not saying, I am because you tell me I am. That's why the very first statement in Judaism is, I am that I am. The very first statement. Oh God, how shall I introduce you to the people who are waiting for me? And the answer is, I am that I am. Go tell them. These are the messages from I am that I am. It is not with respect to something. Humanity needs something for everything. You cannot be happy if you have never been sad. You cannot enjoy the sunlight if you have never been night. You cannot enjoy good health if you have never been sick. That's the creation's design. You didn't do it and you cannot get out of it either. You cannot modify that law. There is only one state of existence where the opposite does not exist. There is only one state, which is I am that I am. There is no negative, there is no positive. He is not because we say so. And that was the message. Ape ucho ucha koi. He is the greatest because of his self. the way it is. But it is such a riddle that the people refuse to accept it. They refuse to acknowledge it. Why? Because of our upbringing, because of our training, because of our literature. Because the Judeo-Christian model of the existence is that this creation is created by somebody, as if a technician is making the things. Isn't it? It is not a coincidence that Jesus Christ is a son of a carpenter. What do the carpenters do? They make things. Right? Furniture, boxes, chairs, beds. Even though Jesus tries to correct this perception by saying, my Father and I are one. I wasn't made by him. I grew out of him. We are not separate. The Adam and Eve parable is not a reality. Don't take it literally. He did not just take the clay and make a man and then blow into his nostrils so that he could come alive. This is a metaphor. He did not create the clay models. We are not the clay models. We are him and he is us. We grew out of him. He did not make us. We are not separate. That is the original sin. This understanding, I am separate from you and you are separate from me, is the original sin of the humanity, because that is not the reality. If I was to wear 7, 8 clothes on this body, and even if I take one off, what do you see? Still few more clothes. I take some more, you see still more clothes. Where is the body? Who recognizes the body? When you take a shirt and put it on a hanger and hang it, what do you see? The cloth, not the hanger that is supporting it. And a hanger isn't even important. You don't even care. You don't even notice. What is supporting that cloth becomes irrelevant. The Creator, since we grew out of him, is part of him. A mystic says that the smallest dirt on this universe, in this entire universe, isn't without it. Because that dirt came out of something. The non-form became a form. Something which is formless, something which is pure energy, turned into a form. What form? A grain of sand. How did it come about? It is not an inert matter to him. It is an inert matter from this dimension. From that dimension, he is right there because it came out of him. But how do you get this? How do you understand this? We were told last week, just aap vakhale so vekhe soi. It is His grace. Not everybody gets it. Not everybody accepts it. People fight this, argue about it. The Judeo-Christian model is based on this basic fact. You are it, I am it. And by the way, I am going to sit down and pray to you. Hence the entire model of organized religion. Because I am separate from it, according to the Judeo-Christian model, the belief system. Now I am going to argue, I am created by him, but I am the chosen one. You are not. You are the inferior one. So now I am going to fight about it. Had this thing not been incorporated into us, in our genetics, right from the beginning, the arguments, the fights, the ego structures, all of this would have collapsed. But it didn't. And till today, there have been mystics in every corner of the earth just trying to explain this symbol. You are not separate. Who are you fighting with? Why are you arguing? You are arguing with yourself, and fighting with yourself is always a losing proposition. Isn't it? Tell me, in the 3,000 wars in the history of humanity of last 5,000 years, where are the winners? War is a lose-lose proposition. Nobody wins. Bring it to the micro level. When brother and brother fight, father and son fights, husband and wife fights, where is the winner? Give me one example where you have a conclusive winner. Only some ego satisfaction that I had the last word. In the meantime, the environment has been destroyed. You lose the entire family environment. Regardless of who has the satisfaction, I had the last word. That's why all social scientists say that when husband and wife fight, the losers are the offspring, because the environment is destroyed, and they carry that scar for the rest of their life, because that's where they learn, that's where they copy. That memory cannot go away. That becomes a part of their history now. And they remember it. We are all sitting here in the mid-40s, mid-50s. You can ask yourself, the things that you witnessed between your parents as a discord, that memory will stay, and you will not remember when they were actually loving to each other. That will disappear. The psychological files are filled with the stories of the scars when my father left, or when my mother left, and when they fought, or when they drank, or when they had drugs, on and on. But did you not have any peaceful time? I don't remember. But if this was remembered, that we are not apart, there will be no fights. There will be no, who are you fighting with? But that thought becomes crystallized only with His grace. Jis aap vikhale so vekhe soi. If you are worthy of His grace, He will infuse that energy into you. If you are not working to become worthy of the grace, then it will not happen. Because what is required is Nanak naam vase ghate antar. This model needs to go deep inside your consciousness, not stay right here in the brain as an argument, not as a logical statement to win in a debate. It should be part of your beating of the heart. Ghate antar. And when that happens, upaa-ee then you become ready to witness him from within. Is it happening selectively at some places? No, it is universal law. Next hymn answers that question. Mayraa parabh bharpoor rahi-aa sabh thaa-ee. It says that the above statement is not in isolation. It is not for a segment of population. It is for the universe. Why? Because he is universal. Sabh thaa-ee, everywhere. He is manifested everywhere. No exception to the rule. Because it is a male energy dominated civilization, some of the civilizations has gone that far to suggest, first, the female energy is not allowed even to worship. And let's assume that female energy revolts and raises her consciousness to the highest. She will not be given the freedom from the cycle of life and death. She will have to be reborn in the male body to achieve that status. They have gone to that far. You know who declared this? There is a religion in India called Jainism. Not Zenism of China. Jainism of Mahavira. Mahavira is a contemporary of Buddha. They both were kings by birth. But one followed the path of complete punishment to the self to get to the bottom of it. And one followed complete focus on the mind. Buddha followed the thought, Mahavir followed the suffering. It is from that thought, Mahavira's tribe, where the preacher said, woman will never achieve nirvana like Mahavira did. Islam completely negates that. It says, women are not allowed to even go there. They don't have the potential. Why? Because they are half of the man. They were made. They literally take that model of that female was created out of the rib of the man, because man complained to God and said, I am bored, I am alone. And he said, okay, I'll give you a play toy. And they literally take that. One of the biggest revolt in the civilization today is the emancipation of the female energy in the Islamic thought process. There's a current movement going on around that whole world. But what to do? It is in the scripture. And so many wars and murders and mutilations and all. Acid throwings, defiguring, I mean, you name it. All kinds of resistance continues because they would not want to change that model. Here today, we are told, no exception. Male, female, child, grown up, old, young, no distinction. Red, white, black, no difference. This is a universal law, which is Mayraa parabh bharpoor rahi-aa sabh thaa-ee. That creator is all present around the universe, not just this planet. Around the universe. Because if it wasn't around the universe, you can ask a simple question to the modern scientist. They say the universe is expanding, it is expanding and expanding faster every moment. The speed of expansion is increasing. When you ask them, what are they expanding into? Into space. Who made the space? Where did it come from? Is there a boundary of that space? Is there a limit of that space? Do you know that it will expand so far and then stop because it will run into the boundary? Because the model is, as you blow the air into a balloon and the balloon expands, same is the world expanding. The galaxies and the stars are expanding further and further away. But they don't want to answer that question. Space is already there. Even though Einstein told the world space and time are joined at the hip, you cannot experience one without the other. Because we can't answer that question, we won't go there. For a mystic, there is no question. If he can create the matter out of nothing, he can create the space out of nothing. As simple as that. Be at peace. No need to worry. It's all his doing. Why? He is all pervasive. Mayraa parabh bharpoor rahi-aa sabh thaa-ee, gur parsaadee ghar rahi-aa paa-ee. And remember, you do not need to go anywhere to get at the bottom of this thought. All you need to do is sit down wherever you are, close your eyes and look into your inner. As soon as you are capable of opening the inner eye, you will see for yourself all that is outside, you will see it from inside. Jo brahmande soi pinde jo khoje so paave. Jo brahmande, whatever is outside, soi pinde, the same model exists inside you. When first time the molecule was broken and we got to the atom and look at the atom and found the electrons revolving around the nucleus, the first analogy by the scientists was electrons are to the nucleus what the planets are to the sun. Just as planets are revolving, the electrons are revolving around the nucleus. That means there is a whole similar world inside if you have the eyes to see it. But you need to go inside. You need to develop that. You need to quiet that mind so that it can observe the inner world. So the answer was, Gur parsaadee ghar paa-ee. With his grace, you can see this model of the entire universe. You can experience the planets and the galaxies and the everything that you can imagine outside, it's inside you. The body is a microcosm of the entire macrocosm because you grew out of it. When the Judeo-Christians say God made the man in his image, we took a paint and a brush and we made some old man with a long beard and surrounded by this. What are you doing? That's not what it meant. Because he doesn't have a form. He doesn't have a shape. what image he is talking about. He's saying, I am a light, you are a light. You are in my image. Means what? If I am the sun, you are a ray of a sun. That's all. That's the only difference. You could be just a ray, and this energy could be the entire sun. They two are not different because the ray behaves exactly the same way as the entire sun behaves. That was what? The man is made in God's image. And we focus on the container and forgot the content. We are only worried about the container, that's it. And we want to study the properties of the container. Why? Because we want to control it. Look at our language. Conquering of space. What have we conquered? What are we ruling? I am controlling the nature, conquering of the nature, conquering of the water flow. The language is such that we are at war forever. War with the poverty, war with the drugs. That's the language we know. Why? Because we are separate from the nature, so we have to subdue it within our control, and in that process what we do? The one we are trying to control, we destroy it. Right? You want to live on a mountain and you want to build a house so that you can live. So what is the first thing that you do? You bring a bulldozer. And what do you do with the bulldozer? You destroy the mountain and level it off. Wait a minute, I thought you wanted to live on a mountain. Are you in love with nature? Oh yeah, from here the sight is very beautiful. Then leave it alone, dummy. Where are you destroying it? You have no idea what nature is? No, I am in fight, in competition with the nature. I don't love nature. Because if I did, we would have not destroyed the planet. And we are fast in that direction. Why? Because we don't understand. We are it. We are part. We grew out of it. We were not molded out of it. If your child asks you, Mom, how was I made? What will you say? No, beta. You weren't made. You came out of us. You are the result of us. You are not a separate. You are part of your father and your mother, but if you ask how I grew up, I can explain it to you how you grew up. I can tell you the kind of naughty things you used to do when you were growing up. But I cannot tell you how you were made because you were not made. That question is invalid. But how do you get through these type of bitter truths? It says, Gur parsaadee ghar mein paa-ee. You need His grace to understand, to comprehend, to think like that, because we are not raised with it. We are raised with completely opposite model. Around the globe, not just in one nation, one city, one country. No, it's around the model. He is he, we are we, and He threw us into this nature and we are going to conquer the nature, thereby conquering him. Sadaa sarayvee ik man thaa-ee, gurmukh sach samaavani-aa. He said, this is not how to live in the universe. It would have been a great blessing for all of us if we were told this when we were ready to understand. Oh my child, you and the surrounding around you is one and the same. If you were to ask me and describe to her and say, what is he doing? Can you describe it without describing my environment? Right? You can say he's speaking, right? Fine. Wouldn't the next logical question be speaking to what? And you say there is a group around. There is a ground below. There is a chair on top of it. Can you define any activity in the world without first describing its environment? Try it sometime. It is impossible. Because an environment in which you are is part of you. And you are part of the environment. You are joined at the hip. You are Siamese twins who can never be separated, no matter how hard you try. And everybody in the world is exactly like that. But we never remember that I'm part of it. Hence, we fight with environment and we fight with everything that is in the environment. So we have a difference of opinion with our neighbor, with our friends, with our family members, with our boss, with our employees, colleagues. We have difference of opinion with everyone. And we say, hey, I am unique. Yes, you are unique only at the surface. And understand, your uniqueness is only with respect to your environment. Just imagine, Asha is wearing a red dress. Let's match that shade exactly and put a backdrop of that shade. Then try to find the boundary of her arm and her leg and this. Can you? The boundary of this body is apparent because there is a backdrop. The environment is highlighting you. If the environment stops highlighting you, that is the basic fundamental in all military doctrines. Merge with the environment, which is called camouflage. Ever heard of an animal called chameleon? What is the property of chameleon? No matter, as the chameleon is walking through the jungle, it's changing its shapes to the backdrop. With the green it becomes green, with the red it becomes red as it's walking. There are billions of neurons around the body which are photosensitive. And whatever environment is, those light up. You don't see the chameleon walking around at all. There are chameleon, human also, and we call them, they merge with the environment very well. Look at it. If he goes to the friends, he is friendly. If he goes to the relatives, he is relating with them. If he is drinking, he is drinking with them. If they are sitting Sophie, he is Sophie with them. That's a chameleon. And we take pride in that. forgetting that our identity is defined because there is an environment, there is a backdrop to highlight the environment. The body contour will disappear if the backdrop is exactly the like way. That's why every thief, every dacoit, every robber knows go in the night and wear a black dress. Because you are defined by your environment. You and your environment are not separate. They are each other's helpers, supporters. How do you get it all this? It says, Gur parsaadee ghar paa-ee. Become capable of His grace and you will get it without any confusion. Sadaa sarayvee thaa-ee. Then once you get it, then you reach this stage which is sadaa sarayvee, forever in His memory. Thaa-ee. Then your mind is not wavering because the thoughts are slaves of the changing environment. If there is no change, there are no thoughts. Gurmukh sach samaavani-aa. Then you can merge into the ultimate truth. Ha-umai jee-o jagjeevan vasaavani-aa. Har jagjeevan nirbha-o gurmat daataa samaavani-aa rahaa-o. The primary requirement to get His grace, ha-umai, surrendering the self. Rather than say, I already know this. Let's take it from further. When I came to California about 35 years ago, Indian community was small. There were no musicians. So pretty quickly, because that came very handy to me, I made friends very fast. So it became the pretty much, life of the party. The only thing I brought from India was my harmonium. So quickly, when we started developing the community, and the people will come to me and say, teach our children the music. How much would you charge? No, this is a free service. Bring your children, come yourself, anybody who wants. This is my way of giving back. And I was very enthusiastic. But then 99% of the time, they will sit down and first say, I already know this. I want to learn further from this. And I will say, that was all I was going to teach you. And you already know this. Sorry, I can't teach you. I mean, it is mind-boggling. Indian classical music is a replacement for the meditation because Indian classical music evolved out of meditation. It takes lifetime to master one raga or one composition or one type of style of thing. And I used to get the students say, I already know 15 out of the 37. Can you teach me the rest of the 17? I said, oh sorry, I don't even know 15. You already ahead of me. How can you learn 15? How much time it took you? Oh, I attended that school for 6 months and they taught me. Go back to them. Get the rest of the 17. Because when I was learning the music, For 4 years of my life, my teacher taught me one note. That's it. I lived with him for 4 years. I slept on the hard floor in his house. And he'll wake me up at 4 o'clock in the morning and same note. He will tune the instruments on that note and will tell me, sit down here and keep on singing this note till I come back. And he'll go back to sleep. From 4 to 7, I am singing a single note the way he taught me. At 7 o'clock he'll come back, bring a cup of tea, and they say, I want to give you the next lesson. Say, I'm sorry, I have to get ready to go to the office. I said, okay, we'll do it tomorrow. 4 years went by. And that's all my classical training. Single note. And I'm so grateful to that teacher who did not teach me all the ragas. We rush. We don't surrender our ego. The primary condition to learn anything that is of value. I'm not talking of the universities and PhDs and doctorates and all that. I'm talking of anything that's of value to the soul. Requires ha-umai. I surrender my ego to you. Ha-umai, jee-o, jagjeevan, vasaavani-aa. If you surrender, then the mind opens up. Automatically, like a flower opens up. The mind remains closed if you are not surrendering. If your eye is up, I already know this. I have heard this before. I have read this before. I have known this before. The mind is closed. Then these are just vibrations, sound vibration, hitting your eardrums in one side and disappearing from the other side. It will do nothing for you. But if the eye is surrendered, this will become the nectar for you. This will become the seed. This will become the changing things in your life. It will bring a revolution. Spirituality is not evolution. Science is evolution. Spirituality is revolution. It just happens suddenly. And all you can say, wow. How did I miss this all my life? This was all around me. What happened here? All you can then do is shed tears of regret. Ha-umai, jee-o, jagjeevan, vasaavani-aa. Har jagjeevan, nirbha-o, gurmat, daataa, sach, samaavani-aa. Surrendering the ego is the path to nirbha. Nir means without. Bha means to come and go. Pauna, go around in circle. Come and come, go and come back, go and come back. You say, you get out of that model. You get out of the cycle. Ghar mein Dhartee Dha-ul patada. It's expanding on that thought. Within yourself, you can experience the land. You can experience the water. You can experience the sky. Ghar hi mein pritam sadaa hai bala. And as you can look inside, you will find that innocent child playing within you. Because this is all a play. It's all a drama. You may be miserable outside, but he is having fun. Because it's a drama. Why to be miserable in a drama? When you watch a drama and somebody is hurt and the makeup artist comes in and fill you up with the makeup and nowadays that a Halloween thing, they are going to show you some gory faces and bodies and mutilated, right? Only child enjoys that. They find fun in screaming. Why? It's a play. They will sit in the middle of the night and turn on the scariest slasher movie. And they will be crying and they will be hiding their faces, and mother will say, why don't you shut down the TV and come upstairs? No, mom, it's fun. Because it's a drama. It's a different kind of a drama. You don't get bored. And all that is a ketchup spread all over the place and you think it's a blood. Drama is to be laughed at, to be enjoyed, not to be miserable about. So because I'm tied with my own skin and I'm not separate, I am scared and I'm crying and I'm yelling, oh, somebody save me, somebody save me. You say, just open up your eyes, it's just a drama. There is nothing in there. What is there to save you? There's a beautiful metaphor. A man is so miserable in his life, he's praying all the time, oh God, please take me. I don't want to live here anymore. And one night he dreams that he's falling from a 100-story building and he's coming down and he's crying, somebody save me, somebody save me. And he hears a voice in his dream, would you make up your mind whether you want to live or die? I was just helping you. Now go ahead and fall down and die, it is okay. When you are dying, you want to be saved. When you are saved, you want to die. Because we think it is separate. Life and death are not separate. When you die, you are born. When you are born, you die. If it has happened once, it can happen again. It will happen again. What are you scared of? You have lived a cycle. Get ready to end the cycle. Start a new one. Get a new body. Become young again. Go through the feeling of falling in love and getting rejected again and again and again. Don't you miss it? What do we talk about if there are fond memories? Oh, that was my first love, first crush. This was my first kiss. Do you remember your first laugh? No, you don't. Because your mother would not leave you alone till you smile back at her. Even when you were just 2 days old, she was trying to tickle you. She was dying to see your first smile. You are part of it. You are it. You are the universe. In a microcosm. Believe it. It is a reality. If you are not taught before, learn it now. And if you don't want to learn it, prove it that it is not the fact. Go deeper into it. Search for yourself. Don't just stay straight-jacketed in your belief systems given to you as a kid. Those belief systems were for your safety. When you are a child, everybody needs safety. Even when you grow a little plant, that plant needs a safety. You can ask any gardener. They protect the little plant, little bud that comes out of the ground. You have to make sure a bird doesn't get it, or an animal doesn't step on it, or the weather doesn't change and freeze it away. You protect it. Then that plant becomes a tree. Now you don't need the protection. As a matter of fact, you become the protection for a lot of the other little birds who come and make a nest on you. So when you are a little bird, if nobody told you, because they were trying to protect your consciousness, you are now ready to hear the universal truth. Either accept it or go deeper into it and prove it wrong. Then you can have your mark. There is no compulsion in this. No master, no God, no creator is ever going to come and twist your arm and say, why are you not listening? A parent, a mother, a father can do that. God or the master will not do that. You have to make it a conscientious choice. Ghar mein Dhartee Dha-ul patala, ghar hi mein pritam sadaa hai bala. Bala means a little child playing. Sadaa anand rahe sukh-daata, gurmukh samaavani-aa. If you are on that path, then you are on the path of achieving everlasting bliss. Sadaa anand, forever and ever bliss. Which is not in opposition to something else. Kaa-i-aa andar ha-umai Mayraa. Now comes the problem. Say, why you are not getting it? Because that ego that was injected into you when you were born, where you were told you are a Jennifer, you are a Karen, you are a Asha, you are a Richard. When these things were told you, you took it literally. Hey, don't you know who I am? I am Richard. Do you know my background? My family are so and so, my parents are so and so, on and on and on and on. And the ego, keeps on getting deeper and deeper and deeper into the consciousness. If you did not realize it before, realize it now that you are not separate. Richard and Jaswant are not different at the core. They are only different at the boundary of the skin. That's it. If you don't believe it, if it sounds foreign to you, I wouldn't impose that belief system on you. I would only request humbly, please investigate. And then you can challenge. There is no master, there is no saint here, there is no disciple, there is no... Somebody called me from England last week and said, I just heard from my relative who's visiting me here that we have a guru there who explains the Gurbani. I said, oh, please, would you forgive me? I am nobody's guru. I'm just a co-traveler, just like you. I'm a seeker. I'm walking with you. There's no master, there's no disciple. Why? Because we are all one. And that core, why focus on the skin? 99% of the psychological problems of humanity is because of focusing on the skin. Isn't it? Think about it. Your husband comes late. Where were you? He may already be home with you, but physically he is still out. He may be mentally still thinking about you. In Punjabi literature, there is a beautiful song where the husband is coming late for the last few nights, and eventually the wife loses the patience and say, tonight you are going to have to tell me where you have been spending the nights. I say, no, where? I've been coming home. No, but you are not coming home at the same time. You have some outside interest. And the song goes on back and forth. At the end, the man pulls out golden bracelets out of his pocket and he says, look, I have been going to the goldsmith every night and I have been designing these bracelets for you, and I wanted to give you as a surprise, but you have forced me to tell you because you are interpreting my staying late in a different way. And the end of the song is, she suddenly changes her tune. Oh, please forgive me. Hurry-aa, put it on. ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਹੈ? ਆਸ਼ਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਸਤਾਨਾ ਤੇ ਸੁਰਿੰਦਰ ਕੌਰ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਗਾਇਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ ਗਾਣਾ ਹੈ। ਆਖਰ ਤੇ ਗੁੱਸਾ ਨਾ ਕਰੀ ਵੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਮਾਫ ਕਰੀ ਢੋਲਿਆ, ਛੇਤੀ ਨਾਲ ਮੇਰੀ ਬਾਹ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾ ਦੇ। Hurry up. Don't keep it in your hand. Put it on my arms. Why this conflict? Because your skin belongs to me. I don't care where your mind is, but I own your skin. How topsy-turvy? Would you not rather win the mind? The skin will follow automatically. But you don't care about the mind. You don't want to win the mind. You say, no. I just want to hold on to the skin. You better be here when I tell you be here. And the first thing that destroyed after the death is the skin. Right? It's on top of it. The first thing that's buried or burnt is the skin. And that's the one we want to own, possess, control, manipulate. And when we cannot, the relationship goes into such a deep curve that you cannot recover from it. We have not been taught to value what is inside. We only want to see what is outside. Ask any man, what kind of woman you want? The first statement is, she should be pretty. Okay. Is pretty inside okay with you? No, wait a minute. I'm going to go out in the world. She should look good with walking with me. Who's going to see the inside? End of discussion. Ask any woman. He should be rich. Is rich at heart okay? No. How am I going to live? If he is not rich in the pocket, rich at heart doesn't mean anything. Our values are turned upside down. And what does that do? Kaa-i-aa andar ha-umai Mayraa. Mine. Mayraa means mine. What is that? The ego. Jamman mar na chuke fera. Because of this, Jamman means to be born, mar means to die, fera means the cycle. This birth and death cycle does not end because we do not understand, we have not been taught, we have not been raised. And if you ask some of you might have your parents still alive, you go and ask them, Mom, why didn't you tell me this? You say, Beta, nobody told me. You can ask your grandparents. And if it happens that your grandparents are alive, you ask them, say, well, nobody told me. I just told you what I knew. This fallacy keeps on perpetuating. Cycle does not break. Somebody has to start that breaking the cycle. Gurmukh hove ha-umai vaaree sach-o sach dhi-aa-ee. Those who are following a master, the words from a master, not follow the master. Gurmukh, the words that are coming out of his mouth. That's a key. Not his body, not his daily routine. No, his words, because they are the essence. If you follow that, you will be able to control your ego, you will be able to walk on the path of the truth. Understand, kaya andar paap pun doye bhai. In this body, positive and negative energies exist from the day one. No one is without it. We deny our negatives and highlight, over-evaluate our positive. We underplay our negative. And we get mad with those who will even point out a negative. You can watch any conversation amongst friends, and if there is, because friends pick on the friends. And let's say that one friend is picking on another friend and teasing about the negative, and if it so happens that the wife confirms it, they will start a Mahabharata now. You didn't have to confirm it, but that's a fact. No, but it was not your place to point it out. You should have downplayed it. No, there is no need to downplay anything, because everybody knows I have my faults with me. And if she says you have it, I have no reason to get angry unless I have looked inside me and found out that negative doesn't exist anymore. I have been able to remove it. If I have not been able to remove it, then I need to actually thank her for reminding me that I still have some work to do. They are both there. Kaya andar paap pun. Paap means the negative, pun means the positive, doye means both of them. Both exist in every single human. Dohi milke sist upaa-ee. Understand, the whole of the universe plays between these two poles. Day with the night, night with the day. Good with the bad, bad with the good. Dohi milke sist upaa-ee. The sist means the creation. Upaa-ee means it came out. Dohi means both of them, both positive and negative. The duality created the universe. And what is your destiny? Dove maar jaaye ikat ghar. You need to transcend both, because he is transcending both. And if you want to merge with him, you have to become like him. Water and oil will never mix. Water and water can mix. That means if you want to mix with water, then you have to become like water. Dove maar. Destroy both means what? Transcend. Don't be affected by either. Don't start dancing because you are happy, and don't start crying because you are sad. Being happy and being sad is both part of the same journey. doye maar ikad ghar aave gurmat sach samaavani-aa. Then you come to the state of equipoise, sahaj, which is neither this way nor that way, right in the center, completely quiet and peaceful. So we'll take a pause here. Thank you all for coming, and if any one of my words offended anybody, I sincerely apologize. If anything touched, that's a word from the beyond for you to take home. Now if there is any comment or question, the lines are still open.